Welcome back, you're watching Late Night Live. Now, months after demonstrations and protests, Manchester's homeless community still faces huge challenges. The number of people sleeping rough has risen steadily over the last few years, whilst and services are stretched. Salford-based filmmaker Roxy Roscoe examined some of the struggles facing those that live on Manchester's streets.
There's more good than bad, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of good people about, but it's not that you want, it's help that you want off the other people, the authorities, do you know what I mean? Like they keep saying to me, if you get rid of Rooney, the dog, we'll put you in an hostel, but there's no way on this earth I'd ever get rid of him. I've lived in Manchester all my life, I've been homeless now about 14, 15 months. I come and sit here every day and hope to get a bit of money off people. A lot of the public are kind, but there's a lot who look down the noses at you. Like I say, been on the streets 14 months, not had any help off nobody. Like I say, come here every day. Usually get here about 12 o'clock till about 7 at night. And some of the public ignore you, totally ignore you, look down the noses at you. But there's a lot of good ones as well. It just baffles me where the funding goes for all this homelessness, because nobody sees anything of it.
Homelessness is a destructive and isolating experience that socially excludes some of the most vulnerable people in our society. The issue is on the rise in the UK, but no national figure can be recorded for rough sleepers, because so many of them slip through the net every year and aren't recorded at all. In 2014, over 100,000 people across the nation applied for homeless support from the government, but only 52,000 people were helped. Big cities, such as Manchester, often have a large population of rough sleepers, some of which come together to protest against how they are treated.
Hi, I'm Danny Jones, I'm 27 and I'm volunteering and helping to facilitate a peaceful protest of homeless people in Manchester in the town hall to show the people who make the decisions in Manchester that they are not worthless, that they're not pointless, that they have a voice and that they need to be heard. These guys have been swept away and hidden away in the city for too long now, and I think it's about time that they brought themselves forward and showed themselves to be the powerful people that they can be, and that the councils and the governments realise the potential that's lost within these people.
Until the government forms a structured support system to assist those in need, the homeless communities have to rely on the generosity of the general public. Independent charities are set up all over the country, and volunteers offer their free time and hard work to help people who need it the most. If these people didn't carry out this essential work, who knows what would happen to the homeless on our streets?
So I guess for me, personally, it's that inability to be able to walk past somebody on the street. That real empathetic outpouring that just, you see somebody who's sat there at the side of the road being treated like an animal or you know, subhuman almost. And there's sort of 30, 40, 50 people that have walked in front of me that have walked past that person, that haven't looked in that person's eyes and thought, why are you worse than me? If I walked down Market Street in Manchester today and there was 30 or 40 dogs, people would be taking those animals home with them. What do they do when they walk past people? They just walk past. We rush to work, we rush home from work, we rush to get dinner, we rush to answer the phone. The minute we open our eyes, we have our phone in our hands and we're looking at emails. There's always something better to do. And really, my biggest saying, and I think it kind of sums up everything that we do as Coffee4Craig, is that you should never look down on someone unless you've got your hand out and you're helping them up. And when you talk to them, the majority of them, all they say is, I'm sick of being ignored. I think for me, that's the ethos of Coffee4Craig, is, you know, we're two women from Salford who lost a member of their family through mental health, through stigma, through substances as a coping strategy for the mental health, because the mental health system let him down. And we lost Craig, but we don't need to lose everybody else out there.
I'm joined now by Risha and Fie Lancaster, who featured in the documentary, to discuss Manchester's homeless crisis in more depth and to talk about the work that they're doing with the charity Coffee4Craig. So ladies, you're very, very welcome to Late Night Live.
Hi,
and thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now tell us, so do you want to tell us about Coffee4Craig? What do you do, and just give us a background on that?
Well, Coffee4Craig started due to my brother-in-law, Risha's brother, passing away on the streets. And previous to that, myself and Risha had done little bits of kind of voluntary work with homeless organisations, mainly LifeShare here in Manchester.
In Manchester, yeah.
Who are a fantastic charity who work mainly with the under 25s. So we did some voluntary work with them. Craig actually lived in Cardiff, so it was difficult for us to kind of support him, work with him. So we just started working here. He actually had schizophrenia, and that was part and parcel of the reason why he was on the streets.
Right.
Services had tried to support him, that type of stuff, and he passed away, ultimately committing suicide on the streets of Cardiff. And we were kind of, it was almost forced upon us, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like this compulsion to have to do something.
It was a trigger. It was a
huge trigger. It was a real, it was just this crashing of our world, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the day that Craig died, I mean, like I say, we'd already started to work with the homeless community. So when he died, we knew that there was a community out there, and we knew that each person kind of looked after each other and looked out for each other. So when he died, I think we kind of wanted to do something for his death, really. Something for the community that he had, the homeless, his friends. But knowing that they couldn't just come to the pub, like, you know, it just wasn't possible for that. So we decided to do a meal in his name, basically, and that was sort of...
We didn't want anyone to feel left out, did we? I mean, you go to the pub, there's an expectation to pay for a drink, pay for a meal, and we didn't want anyone to feel obligated to pay for something if they didn't have it or they couldn't afford it, or, you know, so we wanted a really open, non-judgmental event to celebrate Craig's life. And like Risha was saying, that was exactly what we did. We did that in Cardiff, and then bumped into a group called Food Not Bombs, who go out and serve a vegan meal every Friday on the Hayes in Cardiff. Looked at what they did and realised that there was a gap on weekends in the services in Manchester.
There was nothing, was there, apart from
LifeShare.
In the morning, that was sort of 7 in the morning till 9 in the morning. And then from there was nothing, absolutely nothing.
Like Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, there was absolutely no services. And just Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. And that was it, really. If you were, you know, obviously there's not homeless people outside those hours, are there?
No, of course not.
So, you know, they don't need any help then, do they? Yeah. So, in Craig's memory, we just wanted to go out and give people cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Which thought, and then that's where Coffee4Craig came from. And it was born in our dining room, and we just kind of went, let's do something. And we just kind of influenced our friends, really, got on Facebook, took to Facebook, and said, when you go past someone who's begging on the streets, don't give them money, because you don't know where it's going, you can't control that, you don't know what's, you know, you don't know people's situations. Just buy them a cup of coffee.
Right.
Take it back to them, have a chat with them, and tell them that the cup of coffee's from Craig.
Because that's quite strong. That's a strong message that you actually put across, I think, in that film we've just watched. It's the ignoring a lot of the time, the demoralising, people stepping over, literally stepping over. Yeah, the dignity.
You strip away their dignity.
Well, to somebody who's had everything stripped from them, let's not, you know, so it's the final humiliation, or...
I think, especially when we started just over 2 years ago we started, and I think at that time there was a lot of homelessness on the streets. There was people sitting there begging, or just people just being, and everyone was walking past, everyone was ignoring, including us, sort of with that tunnel vision and forgetting people. Now,
I think it's more embarrassment.
Yeah,
I don't think you ignore people.
I
think it's embarrassment.
A bad
you don't know what to do.
Or you feel like you
don't
can't
know what to do.
Maybe so you do nothing. It was just stupid, obviously, in a way. But
and I think over the last 2 years, with the crisis getting more and more people going out there, and I think it's just people's consciousness has been opened, people's empathy have been opened, and now people aren't being ignored like they were. I don't think. I think there's so many people out there helping. There's like
so literally, it's like
now.
There's constant Mary Poppins out there with these giant bags full of food, running around feeding everyone. It's crazy.
A massive change then in the general opinion around homelessness.
Over the last 2 years, I think.
Where do you think that's come from? I mean, obviously we had the protests in Manchester. We had the same in.
I think.
London.
Well, we started our first original street kitchen. We did Christmas 2013, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was our first original one. And we did our research. We went out, we asked the guys on the streets what they wanted. And it was that kind of late night service, really. They wanted something hot to eat later on when all the shoppers are gone.
When it mattered more, when there were no people, or when they were on their own, essentially. I know we've got lots more to talk about, ladies. We do have to just go for a quick break, but we'll be back in just a few moments, and Fie and Risha will be here telling us the rest about Coffee4Craig. Don't go away.